So hence brings you here as well in the Tech Lead Journal because we have largely the audience from tech industry. I believe there are so many of us here also waiting to channel our creativity. But let's start with the obvious question. This is probably open-ended discussion. What do you mean by creativity? For example, myself, I don't actually categorize myself as creative. I always think creativity is something like someone who can produce beautiful artistic results, maybe it's paintings, maybe drawings, or whatever that is, or have good eyes for beautiful colors and things like that. And I never associate myself as being a creative person, more like logical person. But in your book, actually, you have probably a little bit different definition of what is creativity. So let's start from there. What do you think is the definition of creativity, maybe for people to get the same context?
Yes, I was the same like you, and probably also our listeners are identifying with the creativity more in the artistic sense of creativity. I take the most standard definition in research, and that is like creativity as a type of thinking, the ability to combine the information that you have and come up with an idea that is like interesting and useful for the people you are working with. So this is the standard way, creativity as a thinking. But in my book, I take more the definition of creativity as a process. And that's our process of developing ourselves, developing our ability to create and bring novelty in our professional life. So that's the focus of creativity on my book. How to develop your understanding of what kind of a creative person you are and how can we experiment with that identity in the everyday life. So creativity is more defined from inside out in my book. What do you think of your creativity and how can you use it in your professional life? And like you said, this understanding that we have creativity as an artistic type of talent, like drawing or painting, if you feel that, oh, I don't resonate with that, then this means that maybe you are going to stay away from all those professional domains where these kind of skills are needed. But of course, like I described in my book, there are so many other impulses within ourselves that we can decide to pay attention to and bring them in our professional life. Yes, maybe we are not very talented drawing people and we are not going to be like anything to do with design, but maybe we are like very good programmers and maybe we like one particular programming language. That's what we want to focus on and to develop it into a master competence and into some innovative products.
So if I may try to summarize, so it's a type of thinking, right? Trying to first understand about ourselves. And then afterwards, there's a exploration process to try to bring some kind of novelty. Novelty here doesn't mean that always have to be out of the box thinking. It could be just novelty in personal life. And at the end, there should be an outcome as a result of that, which brings like a cycle of creativity because experimentation and trying to build something, bring an outcome may actually come up with something even new, maybe for the world, or it could be just for our personal life.
Yes, that's a good summary. So creativity as a thinking and then experimenting different experimentations and then reflected in this outcome of novelty. This novelty can be something for a particular audience. Maybe for some people, they don't need it, but you have some type of people in your mind when you're experimenting with your ideas.
There's one thing that when I read your book, you mentioned that a lot of people will feel a sense of disengagement and hopelessness when they are not able to channel this creativity. And again, coming back to my statement earlier, right? For some people who categorize, I'm not creative, that means I block away a few areas that I could possibly do to channel the creativity. So what is the relation about channeling creativity and a sense of engagement and hope in our maybe professional life and also personal life?
Yes, it's very important to be very aware of how we feel about the work activities we are doing. If it's hopelessness, we have to develop a new sense of hope. And what does it mean, hope? To start looking around you, to start to be proactive in your environment and create opportunities for yourself where you can try out new activities. Or it can mean like learning new skills, or it can mean like actively reaching out to other colleagues who are doing some projects that might be interesting to you. So being this person who takes basically your life in control, that's basically the underlying idea. That's what I also have done when I had this career change. I had this period of trying out my sense of hope by, first of all, like when I left from the academia, going to some coaching programs And then after I ended with the coaching programs, I went and I designed my own courses. I learned how to do marketing. I experimented with different skills, new activities for me, scary stuff. But, like until that point when I got to find my interest in the psychology of creativity. And then slowly my sense of hope grew. And then naturally, then when you find these types of activities that, you feel this inner motivation, then you know that, okay, I'm starting to be on the right track for me. And you can congratulate yourself for all the effort you made, all that effort to take yourself from the sense of hopelessness to feel that I see no possibility for me in my life to like slowly learning new things, thinking, okay, is this something that it is for me? Maybe yes, maybe no. How can I recycle it? How can I use it in order to get there? Because in each one of us, there are some activities for which we can have an inner sense of motivation.
Thanks for sharing your story, Dr. Oana. So, a few things that I pick up from what you said just now. The one thing is that we should not be afraid of experimenting. Even though we try one thing, and if it doesn't bring satisfaction, there may be other things that we could explore. And when we have found that, hopefully there is some sense of hope and it will bring us new energy, a new kind of engagement. So, that's one thing that I pick up. Another thing that I just want to mention as well, as part of, again, my research reading your book, is you mentioned in the book that there's no relation between intelligence and being creative, because you said that above a certain IQ, maybe in this case around 120, it's more about personality factors, like it's your motivation and it's your wisdom that are more important than intelligence to be able to produce more creative work. So tell us more about this interesting research, because some people associate, again, creativity with intelligence. I'm not creative, I'm not intelligent, so I have no hope. So maybe if you can demystify some of these limiting beliefs.
Yeah, I found very interesting this research where they are showing that above an IQ of 120, it's more important to have this inner motivation to learn new skills, what we were talking earlier on, to keep on acquiring knowledge. That's one aspect of why it helps to get creative ideas, because once you accumulate knowledge from different fields, then it's more likely that you can come up with an aspect of novelty. And then the other aspect of motivation is that once you yourself have found, for instance, a project that you feel like I'm very motivated on this project, it doesn't matter that you are not a genius. It just matters that you have the perseverance. Some people call it grit. Some people call it stubbornness, but you have this desire to keep on pushing through the challenges just to see that project completed successfully. So that's why motivation and wisdom count more above an IQ, a certain IQ, because they are helping us to choose what new activities to learn. And also they help us be more productive. And then the more projects you do, the faster you complete them, the more you may get to do that project for which, you get recognized.
So again, for those of us who have limiting belief, like for example, I'm not creative, I'm not intelligent, maybe at a certain point, right, we should not just have that limiting belief all the time. So the two key things that Dr. Wana mentioned is about collecting wisdom. So I'm sure every one of you read books, listen to podcasts like this, and also watch YouTube videos, collecting wisdom, maybe talking to other people as well. But the second aspect is to have personal motivation. So the kind of perseverance, grit to always try to explore, maybe apply the wisdom that you have and create something novel.